Hey guys, it's Coffee. Today I'm just doing a little bit of a review at the new Hem 2 version of the CoffeeHUD. So, by popular demand, we have ported the CoffeeHUD over to Hem 2, Holdem Manager 2, and we're just wanted to kind of show you around what it looks like. The major idea was we wanted the CoffeeHUD to also work for Hem 2. To do this, we needed to use NoteCaddy, and so you will require NoteCaddy for this. However, once you have it all set up, you download, etc., this is what it will look like. So again, it's made to be as precise of a copy of the CoffeeHUD as possible. So you can see here, there's all of the pre-flop stats, all of the post-flop stats. They're just set up, again, in the same columns. They tend to be a little bit out of sync sometimes. Once they fill up with numbers, they do line up very well with the stats, with sort of the headings. While they're blanks, sometimes they'll run a little bit off. But you can see, I mean, it's pretty obvious what column, what is assigned to. Again, all of the stats are the same. There's open raise, min raise, open shove, limp, limp trap, limp fold, limp raise, fold to 3-bet, 4-bet, fold to 3-bet shove. Again, hands is H, VPIP, flat, call open shove, 3-bet, 3-bet shove, ISO, ISO shove, ISO non all in, ISO shove. And the post flop stats are actually identical. To get more information about these stats, I encourage you to watch the other videos that I've made for the CoffeeHUD, the ones on the HUSNG.com website. They go through a lot more detail as to how to use all these stats, what they all mean, etc. Again, because this is a port of the PT4 version, all of that information applies. So even though you have Hem 2, watch those videos. It doesn't really matter that I'm showing you the PT4 version. It all is going to be exactly the same. All of this, again, is the same. Here's the hero HUD. This just shows your stats versus your opponent. Again, just like in PT4, there's no way, unfortunately, to make the hero HUD do only against your specific opponent. This just comes from the limitations in the data tracking software of Hem and PT4. You could imagine that in a 6-max game, it would be quite difficult to have your HUD keep track of your stats versus each particular opponent, right? You'd have like 6 hero HUDs, so that would be confusing. So that's why it's not feasible to do it. Even though for heads ups it does make sense, but that's life. Again, everything else is the same. There's the name of your opponent, again, aggression frequency, fold, all that. Here's the section with stacks. So this actually gives you the stack in big blinds for both players. So note, I mean, if you want to get effective stacks, just look at the smaller of the two numbers. But, at least it does the math, so you can see both stacks. It works the same way. Now, I did want to mention one thing. In the current version of Hem 2, as I'm speaking, there aren't the Nash push-fold charts that are in the PT4 version. And that was just a slight oversight. We are putting them in. Hopefully by the time you watch this video, then there will be a new version of CoffeeHUD for Hem to put out. And it will have the Nash charts, the Nash push-fold charts. And to access them, it's just going to be the same way as in PT4. You're just going to click on the effective stacks, and you'll get those Nash charts popping up. So if you do have a version, if you've already bought the CoffeeHUD for Hem 2 and you want those Nash charts, just download the newest version and re-import it. And hopefully it will already have them. And if not, check back in a few days. And hopefully those will be put in. I have it's getting put together as we speak, so it should be ready by the time you look at it. So that's really the only major thing to point out is those Nash charts, because that's not going to be obvious just from looking at it. Everything else is splayed out. You can access all the information just by viewing. You don't have to click anywhere. That's the whole idea of the CoffeeHUD, is that the information is at your disposal without needing to directly access it. So now let's look just a little bit. Once we do get some data. So now we can see here, we've gotten some reads on our opponent, and you can see the stats are starting to fill up. And you can also see exactly what I was talking about, that they are now lining up very well with the above, and it's now obvious what the stats correspond to. So it's really only in those rare situations where you have very limited reads that it can be slightly confusing. Notice too the color coding. So the color coding has also been ported from the PT4 version. The color coding corresponds the same way as in PT4, with green being sort of a measure of tightness, passiveness, usually just of narrow ranges, and red being a sign of loose ranges. So with betting, red means that they're betting a wide range. With folding, that means that the fold numbers are high. So you can see here, green is popping up for min raise because of 17 because it's a very low min raise percent. On the other hand, it's red for limp because it's a very high limp frequency. Conversely, you can see here it's a high number for fold versus c-bet because that corresponds to him being left with a tight range. So tightness is corresponding to green. So again, all the color codings that I worked on with a lot of put a lot of work into are ported. They're based on both theoretical considerations. So for instance, the fold versus c-bet is based on how often you need folds for the most part. So if you see green, it means you can bluff. That's in general what it is. In places where it's not clear whether whether you want where it's not clear whether what a stat corresponds to, it's based on population tendencies. So for instance, and shallow, the open shove colors are based on Nash. So the white neutral is approximately Nash, red is looser than Nash, green is tighter. So again, I mean, the color coding is made to be as intuitive as possible. And in general, when you see green, that means tighter. If you see red, it means looser. And, you can sort of just trust that it's done as intelligently as possible. I mean, obviously, looser, tighter, they're always relative words. There's no clear definition of what is a tight range in certain spots. So again, it's based primarily on theoretical considerations of, a tight range being one that you can exploitably bluff a lot into. Combined with population tendencies, where in general, white tends to lean towards like an average stat that you see often, and green is, tighter than usual in a sense as well. So that'll give you a little bit of a sense of how those stats work. And again, you can see that some of the stats have, the effective stacks have changed, and again, all the stats are now filling out. So again, otherwise, again, for more strategic information on how to use these stats, and more detailed information regarding some of these stats, just watch the other videos that I've made about for the PT4 specific version of CoffeeHUD. But again, CoffeeHUD is CoffeeHUD. This is the same HUD. So yeah, it should be as made to be as identical as possible. So great. I hope that this helps you all, and good luck at the tables, everyone. Cheers.